All right, YouTube universe. Welcome to another episode of The Naked Truth. Today we're going to hit another NBA reaction. And today we're hitting up Karl Malone. Yes, indeed, the mailman from the Utah Jazz. NBA legends explaining why he was great, and a few explaining why they think he was actually soft. I'm not sure at 6'9", 250 pounds you're considered soft, but that was Karl Malone, right? 14-time All-Star, 14 times All-NBA, I believe. He's top 75 player of all time. He was number 2 in scoring behind Kareem Abdul-Jabbar until LeBron took that over this past season. He scored over 30,000 points, made a few all-defensive teams, 2-time league MVP. So that's a little history on Karl Malone. And again, he's forever linked with the great John Stockton, right? Stockton to Malone. We've heard that ad nauseum throughout their career. So he played his entire career with the Utah Jazz, save his last year. He played about 40 games or so with the Lakers, and that was it. He's retired, right? Dream teamer, 2-time Olympian. That's about all I can think of off the top of my head. So let's just jump right into this. And remember, whether you're here for 5 seconds, 5 minutes, or the whole show, it's all good. Just don't forget to like, drop those comments, suggestions, and most importantly, give Boris a little pat on the head and you are subscribed to the channel, all right? So let's just jump right into it. Let's not make this any longer than it needs to be. Karl Malone was great. He was soft.
Fouling, he's the guy that you want to put on the line. You're not fouling Stockton.
Right.
You're not putting him on the line. You're not letting him take the shot.
Malone is probably physicality-wise and agility-wise, you maybe compared to LeBron today, right? That big frame, 6'7", 6'9", 250.
Hey guys, this is Dominique Wilkins.
Hey, this is Sean Kemp.
This is Gary Payton.
Hey, this is Pau Gasol.
NBA fans, what's up? This is Vince Carter here.
Hey, what's up? This is Matt Barnes. If you're an old school NBA fan like I am, make sure you check out the Basketball Time Machine with my man Sean David.
Check him out.
Hello, good day, everyone. Welcome back to the Basketball Time Machine. My name is Sean David. Thanks for tuning in. Let's talk some old school NBA basketball. Now, Karl Malone is one of those NBA figures where you have two different camps. You have the one camp saying that Karl Malone is one of the greatest players of all time, which obviously he was. And then on the other hand, you have all the other personal stuff, which I want to exclude in this video. So in today's episode, I want to take a look at NBA legends talking about Karl Malone, the player. And you would be surprised, there is one comment by Kenny Martin, which we're going to take a look at later, which is pretty harsh. But let's take a look first at some other clips. Let's get it started.
Here we go, boys and girls. You need to bounce out, move on, fast forward. All good.
Now, the first player's opinion that I want to take a look at is from Gary Payton, a.k.a. The Glove, who played alongside Karl Malone in 2004, I think it was, with the Lakers. And as we all know, that season didn't turn out the way that they were hoping for. But anyway, let's take a look what The Glove has to say.
The mailman, I call him Gators and jeans. He know what I'm talking about. Gators and jeans. He wear gator
Country
boots
boy.
and tight jeans. That's him. But to me, I think that was the greatest power forward ever. I just have to say that because what he did on the block with him and John Stockton on the pick and roll, and he can get to where he wanted to do and put that foot, that knee in your chest as you go up and score the basketball the way he did. I don't care what nobody say. You could never handle Karl Malone on the block by yourself one-on-one.
The mailman, Karl Malone. You see the little move where he put his hand behind his head.
You're watching one of the all-time greats at any position, in any era.
Man, that guy physically was one of the most imposing players to go against. And I think that hindered you oftentimes on how you wanted to approach it because I'd never seen a guy that big could run like that. I mean, he was incredible on the wing at running the floor. And even in our era, which is probably the most physical era we had, when you talk about basketball, nobody was getting in front of him. When you saw that train coming downhill, you were just a little shy about wanting to sacrifice your body.
That's why I say the same thing with LeBron today, right? He's that physical, he's trucking down the lane at full speed. it takes some stones to stand there and take that charge, right? Because you know you're gonna get hammered.
And you hear the line today about it being a business decision. That's what it was with Karl.
You couldn't stop him with a Mack truck.
And the next clip that I want to take a look at is the one that are announced at the beginning of the video. Kenyon Martin talking about Karl Malone with a little story, and it's pretty interesting. Let's take a look.
Y'all remember Karl Malone elbowed Isaiah Thompson, split him open?
Yeah.
You remember that? Zeke was leaking, right?
Way before you was even in the league.
Way before I was ever in the league.
I just want to set this up.
And never thought I was going to be in the NBA to begin with. But I remember he had him leaking, right? We playing Utah, we in Jersey. On the break, John Stockton dropped that thing off to him. I go right upside Karl Malone fucking head. Boom! Lay him out. And he didn't get up and do nothing. I was like, oh, these motherfuckers soft out here. Like, and Jerry Sloan, God rest that man's soul, oh, you motherfucker, like, I kick you. And I was like, he tried to take up for him, like, and Karl didn't do nothing. I was like, but that was physique. You know what I'm saying?
However many years later.
Way later.
Yeah.
Someone goes at you, man. Someone gives you a hard foul, even if you want to call it an aggressive foul. I don't care who you are, you just can't lay there. Someone wants to go, they want to fight you, they hit you hard. You got to put the gloves on and go. All right? Even if you get your butt whipped again, you just can't lay there and take it. I don't know if that's the case here with Karl. Obviously, that's what Kenyon thinks. But in general, yeah, you got to take the gloves off and go. If someone's coming after you,
That's crazy.
you'll never get that.
Why?
Listen.
Holding inside Karl Malone. Great pass, hammered up. Stockton over to Karl. Angle left. Jump shoot from 18. Got it. A Mailman.
So you and Mailman were roommates once?
Me and Mailman were roommates in 1982 at the World University Games. And we've been friends ever since then. And him and Tim Duncan, to me, are the best big man runners ever as far as finishing fast breaks. Karl, I thought, was the best I'd ever seen about getting up and down the floor, and Tim Duncan took it to another level.
Well, did you and Karl know each other at all before that?
No.
So what did you learn about him from being a roommate of his?
He snores. He snores. Country. I had the same overall. Same thing. We were both in college, and I don't think either one of us. Really? We were both in college. And I'm not like. I didn't know he was going to turn into the mailman. I don't think he'd think I was going to turn into Sir Charles.
Out of Rodman and the mailman, I think you guys would agree. Both of them were ahead of the curve when it comes to their time in the weight room. Conditioning. Both of these guys lived in the weight room. And if you look at Karl, his rookie year, when he, you see how big and how muscular, and still to be able to be that flexible and run the floor, to me, and I'm not trying to stroke you at all, but look, you and Karl, to me, are the greatest power forwards of all time. And you talk about guys being able to go coast to coast with the basketball.
Now, how can you have a Karl Malone episode without John Stockton? Stockton, Malone? Stockton to Malone. Anyway, let's hear what John Stockton has to say about his former teammate.
And then when we got on the court there, I felt there was something magical. The guy read my mind. He caught everything. He finished everything. He had all my work ethic and then some. He loved the game, and just one thing after another, just kind of bond. To where now he's literally inseparable for me as a brother. I mean, we don't see each other every day. We talk occasionally on the phone, but that term's probably overused. But there's nothing I wouldn't do.
It's another guy, John Stockton. Probably because he was always a low key guy, never looked for the limelight and all that. Just a great, solid Hall of Famer, right? I don't think he gets enough credit. I think we need to do a little bit more with John Stockton. Maybe I'll look for some YouTube videos on John and check out his game. He was great.
For Karl Malone, and I think he feels the same way.
I used to watch him punish all my guys. all of them. Every power forward I ever played with, we'd have to double. And he know we have to double, and he always wanted me to come down and double so he could drop it out to my guy. So every time they got the ball, he wasn't worried about the guy. He'd be looking at me to see what I was going to do. And if I didn't come, he'd just dribble, and shoot the jumper. And he'd be like, you better come, Shaq. You better come help him, Shaq. You better tell him who I am, Shaq.
His uniqueness came from his ability to be, would you think he would be a gross motor skill guy? When I say gross, I mean big steps. Everything's big, boom, because of his size and strength. You just think of a fine motor skill, you think of Steph Curry, a guy who moves in like this. He was a guy who had both at his size. He could shoot the basketball, he could handle it, he ran the lane. He wasn't just a big, gross motor skill guy. He was a guy who could do fine motor skills.
Exactly. He wasn't bully ball, right? And just wasn't put you back to the basket, post you up, and just use that 250 to get you as close to the hoop as I can and raise up and do my thing. Nah, man could shoot 18, 20-foot jumpers. You know, again, like Kenny said, he could handle the ball, finish the drive, finish the break.
At such a big size. That was his uniqueness. And, man, I don't know if you know there's another guy like that.
Center is. No-brainer. Just checking. Power forward. Put these hands on you. Karl Malone.
What?
Intentionally. If I can say this, Isaiah, he intentionally opened up an old wound.
You sound like Little John over there. What?
My good, hey, you've got him in stitches with that comment.
Watch this. Wound and stitches, they go together.
And not only were you going to take some punishment, but you had to suck it up and give some, because you just couldn't be on the receiving end of those beatings for 48 minutes.
Karl Malone taught me it was okay to be an outdoorsman. Karl told me one time in the Olympics, I fish, I hunt, I do logs. You guys like rap music, whatever, this is what I do.
He's just
and
a big country boy.
Out with him, I was like, you know what? I like to fish, I like to hunt, I like to ride horses. You know, me and Karl, we have a special relationship, but as a player, it's the reason why he's the #1, 2 scorer in the league. He's one of the greatest players to ever play the game. One of the greatest power forwards to ever play the game.
Stockton, right side of Malone. Stand up. You gotta love it, baby. The mailman.
You know what, Karl Malone, I have a kind of interesting history in terms of when I was a small child, I never liked him because to me, I always thought he was boring. Always just pick and roll, pick and roll, pick and roll, pick and roll. Then once I got older, I think in my late teens, I started to really appreciate it because that's when you pay more attention to fundamentals and so on. And I was thinking like, okay, if you are able to score more than 30,000 points on a single move, I mean, that is efficiency. And I started to really like Karl Malone. Then I got to hear about all this personal stuff, and now I'm like, Anyway, I would like to hear from you guys. What do you think about Karl Malone, the basketball player? Post it underneath the comments. I'm pretty interested to read what you guys have to say. And I would say that was enough for today's episode. I hope I see you next time on the Basketball Time Machine. See you then, guys.
All right, I'm just going to echo my boy from the Basketball Time Machine. Again, thanks to him for putting that video together. Check out his page. But that's Karl Malone, everybody. You know, a little taste of Karl, the mailman. Again, Olympian, all-star, top 3 scorer in the league. Again, take his personal issues aside. If we just look at him as a basketball player, the man was a horse. He was a truck. He's a Hall of Famer. All right? So until next time, until the next NBA drop, the naked truth is out.